mystery, uncut truth, no filter. History, legends fall and rise again. Off script, podcast, rocking the pain. We go wild out of sight, off the rails in the night. Western tales, all are true. Joseph meets crew, straight through. Smackdown stories, heated debates. Backstage secrets, rumors create. Heroes, villains, clash, collide. One podcast, wrestling ride. Hear the crowd scream, shout loud. Knights of wrestling, we ain't cowed. Joseph's voice, a rebel yell. Ring of fire, we raise hell. Heroes, villains, clash, collide.
All right.
One podcast,
Welcome,
wrestling ride.
WWO faithful, to a long overdue WWO's Off Script. My name is Marvin Dallas, alongside Joseph Scholar Knight for the very first episode in what we could probably call a new season of Off Scripts. And we're coming off a very, very successful Summer Bash. Now, Scully, your thoughts on Summer Bash? How happy are you with the results?
Yeah, let me just say, here I am. I'm going to go in character. I got to remember now I am not in character here. So, first of all, I think it was a damn great show from pillar to post. The whole thing with the promos, the action, the little segments, you could say the comedy routines between me and Jeremy were excellent. It just, I had to actually watch it earlier today, just to really let it sink in, and everybody's participation was another factor. Everybody chatting, really keeping the show active. For the first thing, I love every show we've done, but I gotta say, Marvin, that Summer Bash really hit it out of the park. We had everything was down. So great hardcore title match, great women's tag title match, great all the matches had that little spark, and there were times where I've even caught a couple of the glitches, like the characters doing something that they weren't supposed to. But that's the fun part of doing these shows.
Definitely is. Summer Bash was a success on all metrics. We've probably should say some bits of the show might be a little bit boring because we're going to talk about details from a more business point of view. That's where Scully's here today. But yeah, Summer Bash was a success on all metrics. We've gained 6 subscribers on YouTube, 2 followers on Twitch. Both streams peaked towards 10 viewers, and they average about 7 on Twitch and 6 on YouTube throughout the entire show for 3 hours. So that was great. The reception for the matches was great. Almost everyone did a promo, so that was great. And I think the match quality was probably better than on most of our bigger shows, as, we're all still learning, and we keep getting better with the matches too. So, yeah, Summer Bash was great on every single level that we could possibly judge it on, from our perspective at least. So I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you too.
Let me say this, Marvin. Kudos to you, to Jeremy and LG and everybody else who was involved in putting the show together, because without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this show. So there wouldn't be any, literally any matches or anything. So, everybody, we sit down to do creative. We're going to talk about that later. But first, I have to say this. Thank you, Marvin, for the matches you put in, for Jeremy's matches he put in LG. So, guys, you guys are awesome.
Thank you. With that being said, there's one extra announcement we need to make before we get into the more fun topics. And I do want to say, if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll happily answer them. Since we're not live too often. So definitely take the opportunity now that you have them. There is a change in the schedule, something that people probably have noticed over the last couple of weeks. HWR, which we normally had on Thursday, is over. Those podcasts are no longer happening. And both Rick and Lance aren't with WWO anymore. We also had to let go of someone else. And if you'll notice, that person is gone and not on shows for the upcoming shows. You know why. And with that, we'll leave everything respectfully with the individuals involved. And we just wish them the best in their future. But that does mean things are changing. And with that, we do want to bring more content, and we are missing the podcast on Thursday. And I'm planning on making sure that off script is going to be more of a regular thing from now on, which on Tuesday, I will have another episode together with Jeremy, where we're going to talk about storylines in WWO. And starting in October, I want to see a lot of our stars, of our wrestlers, join me on off scripts as we just talk about people's journey in a different setting, out of character. So that should be a lot of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to that in October. Anything you want to say regarding off scripts or HWR or any of the people that we've let go, Scully?
As everybody knows, times come and where there has to be changes. And when we run this, it's nothing personal. We run this as a business. And me, who's been in the wrestling business, I have to look at this as we running a real wrestling promotion. So sometimes even WWE does it. Future endeavors, goodbye, stuff like that. So it's never, is it permanent sometimes? Sometimes we'll bring a person back. Sometimes we'll bring a program back. It really depends, but it depends on the situation. In my opinion, sometimes we have to make changes for the good of the entire organization. So as you guys know, I've been in the business close to like 30 years. So I've been in the territories. I've been managing some of the best talent around. Some of them have been in bigger wrestling promotions like WWE and WCW, ECW. So, and Jeremy's in the business currently. So you have Showtime Shane Black, who's in the business, and other people. And Marvin, into some sense now, is, I would consider you in the business because you definitely understand it. So,
Well, thanks. I don't think a lot of other businesses would agree, but who knows in time.
In the wrestling business, if you can get your hands into it, you understand. But that's why we have to make these changes, and sometimes we have to watch. You know, like what product is doing better. If a certain show's not doing better, how can we spiff it up? If we can't, then it's going to go to the wayside. So that is what we do. And when it comes to people being let go or programs being taken off, it's nothing personal. It always happens. So, by the way, Chimster, if you want to come, if you go on Discord, yes, everybody, and I'm going to throw this out. Chim, if you go with Jocelyn on Discord, check out character updates. You will see that there's something special in there for you, for your roster, as well as
I think that's under the production rule, so I might just have to give Chim that permission for a little bit, so she can actually see that. Otherwise, it's not going to be accessible to her.
Oh, I could probably drop it in the chat. I'll drop it in the chat in the women's locker room chat, so that way you can see it all the time. So we'll just do that. So give us a bit after the program. I'll send that. We'll move it over there. Besides that, Marvin, that's how I feel about the topic. It's future endeavors. We're always looking to improve. We want more people. So please, everybody, understand that.
Yeah, we absolutely want more people, and in a bit we're also going to talk about how we recruit people and what we're looking for when that happens. One thing I want to mention before we move on this topic is we really do not want to let people go. and it mainly comes down to communication. If communication stays on point and we can talk to you and you take criticism and you work with it and you bring something to the table in conversations, then you're good. You know, if as long as the communication is good and we can work with you, you're safe because we want people around it. We want to have as big and as fun as a roster that we can possibly work with. So letting people go isn't easy, and mainly if as long as it's a difficult decision, you're probably going to stay. Just don't make it an easy decision to let you go. When that happens, things have been overstepped a bit.
Yeah. And again, we got to look at it, Marvin, as the betterment for the group. You know, you can't have
Absolutely.
one toxic person making it bad. Have we kicked out people before too? Absolutely. So, and there's people that chose to leave. So, just to give you guys a heads up, it's not like it's something that we have to do refresh. So,
Yeah. Um, well, like I said, recruitment is one of the topics that we have for today. Um, I'm just going to take this straight to you, Scully. What do you want to see from people joining WWO?
what I want to see is people that can at least dedicate to 1 or 2 days a month. Reason being is we want people to send in promos. It is something that we need. As you see in our show, we don't call ourselves an EFED. We call ourselves an independent, or let me see, a virtual independent wrestling promotion. So as you've seen from us, we have promos. I would like to see people donate at least a couple of promos, get themselves active on our shows. And another thing is try to understand what we do. So you got to be patient. You got to be able to submit promos. Your characters have to look like you. You know, because when you do a promo and I am, and I got all this down and I got my shades on and all that, my character's going to reflect that. Marvin's character is going to reflect his. So whenever you join, we need a green screen from you. If you don't have a green screen, we can work around it. So just understand, we need promos, communication. You guys got to talk. Guys and girls got to talk to us. You got to be patient. And we do the storylines, Marvin. And Marvin, we're going to bring that up creatively. We welcome all ideas. But realistically, we book our shows 6 months in advance. So just understand
Yeah.
that.
Now, there's a good question from Zach in chat. If it's your first time doing a promo, what is a good way to start it off?
Be yourself, first of all. Be yourself. Get your character the way you want to be. If you're a heel, let me tell you something, like the old school days. Try to be yourself, or try to develop a character that feels easy for you to do. If you are, let's say, like the Hellbilly who's here, Mr. T37322 Gaming Channel, he has a mask and he portrays that character. Same thing with me, same thing with Marvin. You just make a character or gimmick, like we call in the business, that you feel comfortable with. If you're a masked person, develop the character. If you are going to be part of the business in our group, you have to know what your character is first for us to understand it. So you're kind of doing a self-intro, and then you go along. Anytime doing a promo, we will help you. We guide people, says, okay, this is your bullet points. Boom, boom, boom. This is who you're fighting. This is where the date. This is the time. You take your time, learn how it is, and then build it up. You don't develop a character overnight. You have to take your time to get a feel for yourself as that character. One main thing that I've learned since my old days in training back many moons ago, Marvin, I don't know if you did it. If you've never been on camera and portraying a character, like right now I'm staring directly at the camera, get a mirror, a bathroom mirror or any mirror, talk into it. Look in your eyes and say, like, I'm gonna beat your ass, I'm gonna win this match, and I'm gonna bring home the championship belt. That's if you can relay and you don't look like this and that and like that, that's gonna affect your promo because nobody's gonna take you serious. If you can take the time, learn how to stare at your camera or stare at a mirror, portray your character, and then shoot a promo, then you can submit that in. And one of the things, Marvin, I tell everybody is, and sometimes it has worked, if you are self-conscious of yourself and don't really feel confident in yourself, talking to yourself in the mirror helps. Because this also helps, and it has for certain members of the roster get a better job because now they feel more confident, they feel more of the ability to communicate. So remember that. Look in the mirror, develop a character first that fits what you want. We don't need everybody copying The Undertaker. We don't want anybody ripping off a Stone Cold. You have to create a character yourself. They can have similarities, but you got to also look at our roster and get an understanding and say, okay, I can't be like Jeremy the Madman. I can't be like Marvin Dallas. I can't be like this. Uniqueness. That's what builds up a character, Marvin. And that's what helps with doing a promo.
Yeah, gotta agree, 100%. What I would like to add is the first time you're gonna do a promo, especially for the ones who've never dabbled in streaming or videos, your first promo is gonna suck. It will. It goes for everyone, and there's going to be lots of improvement, and that's okay. Just acknowledge that that's your starting point, and you get have to start before you grow. So just try it, give it a go, and see where it lands. Yeah, just know that the first time it's not going to be great. No one's is.
And again, people, one more thing: never take criticism personally. People are trying to help. People want to build your character. So while you feel like, oh, everybody's downplaying me or something like that, it's not that. We're trying to help you along. So remember that the main thing is learn about what character you're going to portray. Figure out how you're going to look like that character. So if you're going to wear face paint, you got to get the face paint, and it always has to be wearing the face paint. If you're going to get a mask, you're going to get a mask. So just remember that when you're preparing a character to do a promo.
Yeah. You mentioned what you want from people who are new. Is there anything you'd like to add to what makes you think, hey, this is a person that is a great fit for WWO?
Okay. And again, this is me personally, and we do have a creative team. Marvin, you're part of it. Jeremy's part of it. We sit down and we look over everyone. So it's never nothing personal. Let me just say that again. I know I'm going to repeat that word a lot, but I think it sometimes has to be said. What we looking for someone when we see someone that pops in the channel. Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy? Yaney, it's good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I'm good, bro. Thanks for popping in. Good to see you. Keep checking this out here. Mike's a great guy. Mike used to work with us. So here's the thing. We look for someone who's going to be dependable. And I look at that first. I like to see someone try. I'm not going to turn you down. I look at your activity. I'm not asking you to be on here 24/7. once or twice a month is all we ask. The other thing, Marvin, is being serious that you want to do this. You know, not bringing drama. I don't want to hear. I don't care what happens outside. I don't want to have people saying, "I need a title. I need a belt. I need this. I need that. Oh, I should win 50 matches in a row." No, I want someone that knows when they come in, they're going to be treated fairly. You're going to start out. You're going to have wins and losses. If you can accept that, then Marvin, then they're definitely WWO bound. Mind you, folks, let me just say this too. We plan 6 months ahead. And again, I just said that earlier. That's an important thing. 6 months earlier, or 6 months of matches and shows. So sometimes the card does get changed, Marvin. We know we sometimes change it at the last moment. Me.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but I like to have something like that where we literally have to build this up. So if you're not on the first couple of shows, don't panic, because we have to now put you in, and we have many brands now. We have WWO Live, which is mine, WWO Zone, which is Jeremy. We have Slam and Stream, which is our mini pay-per-view every month. And then we have the Big Four, which we'll talk about later. So just understand that we already have shows planned out. Doesn't mean that we won't use you, but you're not going to be dominant in the first couple of matches. So just get that. So just understand that.
Yeah, it's good to know for people joining in is the first month or two. We're probably not going to use you too much, simply because those shows are really set in stone and what needs to happen. And like you said, we plan 6 months ahead. Doesn't mean we can't change things around, but it's going to take time. And I think someone who knows exactly what I mean by that is TMX. Because we've thrown him on a couple of shows from time to time, especially the lives and the zones in which we needed some matches. And last night when I threw the cards for September up, he was like, "I have a lot of matches in September." I said, "Yeah, I told you need to wait, and you're gonna be booked in a lot more matches."
Yep.
Now, an added thing to credit TMX, he's been very active and he's been very dependable. So, yeah, when we were thinking of matches for September, it was very easy to book him because right now I'm very confident that every single match that TMX is in next month is going to have a promo by him because he's shown that reliability, and that's very important for people too.
Yeah, and you nailed it with that reliability. When we look at our roster and we say, okay, this person's going to go this way, your promos have to be really good for us to really say, okay, look, we're going to throw you up here. TMX has impressed us enough that we say, okay, now he's going to be put in storylines. We're not asking 24/7. Sometimes we will ask you for maybe one promo a month. So then you'll be on one show. If we hit you with a list like, say, hey, I need you to promo this, and then another show is going to be promo that, we will give you bullet points. So we'll say line one will be such and such versus a ninja, or such and such versus Showtime Shane Black. Stuff like that. And this promo will be on Zone, this promo will be on Live, this promo will be on Slam and Stream. Sometimes we do that if we feel that you're ready to tackle all of this and your creativity. For those, and Marvin, let me put this out there. For those who never done a promo before, go back and look at WWE and go back even further to WWF in the 80s, same company, just different name, and look at the promos. Just look up promos, like on YouTube, WWF promos 80s, and you'll see how they project. You could see how, like, Macho Man will say, oh yeah, this is that cream of the crop, stuff like that, and they're always looking at the camera, and they got their character ready. That's a perfect example of how to develop your promo skills and your character. So if you feel like, okay, hey, great, now we're going to bring you in, we can actually say, okay, boom, here's your character. We'll look at it. We'll look at your attitude in a couple shows, because you might not win the first show. You might lose the first show. We do that to see how well you are. You might get a surprise win and you're like, oh crap, okay, great. But understand that we have to test everybody coming in, because we just don't take anybody, and we filter people goes through. So I just want to throw that in there. Welcome to everyone.
Yeah.
I see
Yeah.
a lot of people coming in. Demon King Robbie Ray, because that's DKRR.
Yes.
So, and again, my buddy Mike, good to see you, Mike. Thanks, guys, for being part. So, and Selena, I see you're lurking there. Good to see you too. Now grab Terry and bring his ass in here.
Now, again, like I said at the start of the show, we were not often live. So if you have any questions that you want to have answered on stream, be sure to drop them in chat, and we'll get to them.
Yeah. One thing too. Let me say this, Marvin. For everybody involved here, we do, like I said, we do have those shows. Okay, we pre-record those shows, so there is a deadline for everybody that's watching. If you're submitting a promo, there is deadlines. If you miss that deadline, we're not using your promo. You know, you can't say once the show's being recorded, hey, my promo's here. You know, if you could get it to us an hour or two before the show and we could sneak it in, then it gets fit. Then it actually gets fit. So I just wanted to put that, Marvin. So if we say we need a promo at this time, please. If you can't do it, let us know in advance. Say, hey, I'm working, I'm on vacation, or I can't do it at this time. We can understand. It's not going to be a penalty. So
And once again, that comes down to communication.
correct.
And probably nice for people to know, almost all of our shows are on Saturday, and almost all of them get recorded on Thursdays. So if you know you're on the show on Saturday, you can't wait until Friday to promo. That's too late. The show's already recorded. It won't make the show. If anything, you probably want to aim for the Friday the week before that, just to make sure that that everything's set in stone. And I also know that in the past we've been late with letting people know that they're in matches, because we haven't always had everything streamlined, but that is going better. And like happened last night, where I dropped the entire cards for the next month, that is something that should be happening every month going forward. So everyone should be prepared, and no excuses.
And that's a big factor. Guys, that is such a big factor with us. You need to have, we would do better to communicate. Please also communicate with us. And that's, I got to say, that's a big, big thing.
Yeah. Now, for those who don't know, Scully, WWO was a real life promotion. One I think you're planning on bringing back at some point,
Yes.
but that's a topic for later. How did you come up with the big four that we have? Because we have our own little big four, and for people who don't know, that's Wrestle Clash, Summer Bash, Halloween Horror, and Warzone. One of which is a little bit different than the other three. But yeah, how did you come up with the big four shows?
It's actually really funny. Those same big four we have is mimicking the real WWO. So my WWO, and you could probably see it in the back here. There, the real belts are hanging right there, and I'll bring them up shortly. But Summer Bash, Halloween Horror, the War Zone, and all that, we actually had been using that since the mid 90s. So the first ever WWO Halloween Horror, and I'll have to look real quick, guys. I'm going to pull it up real fast. It was back in the day. sorry, Marvin. There you go. Um, it was back in I'm gonna assume it's '94, but those just mimic the current ones. So it just for me it was a no brainer. You know, we had Summer Bash, this had Summer Bash, and so it was just I went with something that made it was very easy for us, and I think in that way we kind of just said, okay, we'll just go with this. Um, Honestly, that was it. You know, I just say, okay, we use this over here. We're gonna do this over there. So it's kind of the same thing. In fact, I'm gonna show you guys something. I'll put this up here. I'm gonna put this up real fast. This was everybody. I'm gonna bring this up here real quick. This was, and Marvin, I don't think you know this. Um, this was. Let me see here. Where is it? Make sure I'm.
My screen is very tiny at the moment, so I hope I can see it.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'll rewatch it after
Okay.
the show.
This is everybody. This is the on Pro Wrestling Illustrated's magazine. Legitimately, it says the World Wrestling Organization, us. So it was us. We had the World Championship was not vacant. It was vacated because there was a controversy between ECW legend Jason Knight and the indie icon Magic. So here you will see Sheik Sator, Ryan Mitchell, Homicide. Yes, that Homicide from there. We had Jay Lover, Ken Sweeney, in The Intruders, Kane D, and that. So this is actually legit from back in the I would say this one was like the mid 90s. Oh no, this one was actually 2013, but it actually came up. So you guys got to see that. Zach has a couple questions, Marvin. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, once you're finished with this, we're gonna answer them.
Yeah. So just give you guys a little bit of heads up. I'll be popping in pictures and all that, but that's Marvin. That's legitimately how we got the Big Four.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go. Now the chat's popped up.
We got plenty of room, so yeah, leave that in. Just leave that on there. Should be fun for people tuning in, but you can see that. Let's see. Zach had two questions, one of which is, who is your favorite character that someone has done in WWO? So basically, your favorite gimmick.
Okay, with the current roster, right? Or I'm assuming.
I mean, we
roster, the virtual wrestling, because I call this the virtual wrestling.
Why not both? Give us an answer for both, the real life and the virtual.
Okay, for the virtual, I'm gonna stick to the virtual right now because over in my like in Homicide. So in my opinion, the current, I would say, it's very tough with the current roster in our virtual program in this promotion right now. I'm actually Marvin. I'm gonna have to. That's a tough one because everybody is so great at what they're doing. I'm gonna be biased because it's the organization. I gotta say my favorite.
I just want to say you're such a kiss ass.
gotta score points. I gotta score points with my group. I gotta say the main members of the organization, Hellbilly, King LG, and Jocelyn Demon Havoc. Those three have been part of my favorite. Oh, not the organization. Oh, of course. This deserves a drink. Hold on. If you guys don't know Twisted Iced Tea, I'm not saying, but it is with alcohol. Not in the organization. Okay, I'm gonna give you 4 of my favorite ones. I gotta throw in Marvin Dallas, not because he's my co-host here, but because of the whole anonymous gimmick. So kudos to you, Marvin, on that. I got to throw in, of course, Jeremy the Madman. The promos, the story, building it up. Okay. My third one, it is going to be Chim Kicks, because her evolution from how she started to current now, and the promos and everything. And finally, Marvin, I gotta throw in the Showman, OSU Phoenix. So those four individuals, and again, those are my favorites. Not the organization. In the organization, it's just King LG, Jocelyn, and then Hellbilly. But outside the organization, that's my faction, by the way, folks. If you don't know, I gotta say those four names. I would throw in Shane Black as a fifth one because he does great promos. But he's a wrestler. So I count him, but I don't, because of the fact that I'm talking to these people who have never been in the business. And Marvin, you've never been in the business, but Jeremy is in the business now currently. And Chim has not been in Showman, but the evolution of their gimmicks and their promos and the ideas, it makes for a successful, interesting story. And Marvin, when you came up with the anonymous gimmick, I thought, man, you got to stick it to me. You got to stick it to my characters. You got to ruin the organization to build up the heat. And that's what sold it for me. For OSU Phoenix, he started out as this great guy, this goody two shoes, and then he became the bad, hated Showman. Chim, I gotta say, and I said this from day one, Chim was going to be my Bailey from the WWE. And the temper, the attitude, never, I'm going to kick your ass no matter what. And she's delivered. Now she's delivering more. So with that, I think with all of that, let me see, did I miss anybody? I think within those four people, Marvin Dallas, Jeremy the Madman, Chim Kicks, and OSU Phoenix, those are my favorites because of the characters developed. And now Marvin's back as Marvin Dallas. So it kind of, again, it's an evolution. And that's what I love about with the workers here. That's another thing about the promos. Your character has to evolve. If you have an idea and you come to me, then that's great. Hellbilly's character has developed as well. He started out before, then he evolved to the mask you saw and the look. So again, and LG and everybody. So that's great. There you go. So there you go, Marvin. I actually gave 8 answers because I had to throw in my organization in there. Just remember that. Remember that, Jocelyn. Okay.
Everyone brings us something, and that's what makes it so wonderful. Indeed, Jim. Absolutely. Now, Zach, the second question. Who has your favorite WWO gear and promo? I think you've mentioned a lot about the promo. I think we should skip that for now. Yeah, basically, what's your favorite look for a character?
Okay, so my favorite look and favorite gear, I'm gonna throw it right back to there's I gotta say, let me see here. I'm gonna say there's 3 people, and I'm gonna put them in 1, 2, 3. 1 is my number 1. I gotta say, of course, the Showman, OSU Phoenix, because he has the look, he's got the hat, he's got the gimmick, the whole Joker voice. That's my first one. The second one, of course, is Jeremy the Madman, because the multiple gimmicks, and he delivers as those multiple gimmicks. Third one for gimmicks, and not, let me see here. I have to say Jocelyn Demon Havoc, because she evolves her character. And that's another one. That's right there. Those are my 3, Marvin.
All right. I actually want to give kudos to Jim, basically because it really fits the entire karate gimmick with the entire gi, the barefoot, with just wraps around the feet. It's really just a complete character. You can see the character and you know what the character is about. So I want to give that as an honorable mention.
Yeah. Zach says Chim Kicks, Madman, and Sister Quinn. Okay.
Okay, okay, that's very interesting. Um, we mentioned the big four, and Wrestle Clash, Halloween Horror, and Summer Bash are part of that big four, and those are very historic shows for you. Um, Warzone started a little bit different though, and I'm not sure if the initial name for what the show was supposed to be came from you. Um, but obviously, Warzone was the start for WWO in the weird way that we did, and it's become very much a gimmick show with the War Games match, and we're gonna have something cool coming January with Warzone. Um, how do you feel about Warzone as a show, as one of the big four?
You know what? I always been a fan of the War Games back when it started in 1987. That shows you how old I am. The Hellbilly says Hellbilly, of course, Madman, and the anonymous character are his top favorites. So gear wise,
Despite all the crap you always talked about me as anonymous, thank you, Bill. Appreciate that.
don't forget he's the one that fucking stole all our belts. Um, um, so I love the War Games. I've always did, and here's the thing with that. My thing with it was the always that it just I just wanted to have that too, and the organization on our part has been in those incredible battles. You know, we've been in there. We've done those. Um, it's something that honestly, in fact, Marvin, I got something for you to see. There it is, the official first ever Summer Bash. Well, this is the 2013 version. So you got Jason Knight. This is when we changed the name from WWO. This was our sister organization, so this was Classic Wrestling Association, which is still WWO. You could see it. This is pretty much the basics. This is it. We actually had a live show, and I got matches, so we'll be putting those up. So you guys could see. Holy crap! It takes up the fucking whole screen. Hold on. But,
That's okay.
yeah. So yeah, that is the exact flyers. Now, and I'll put up a real nostalgia one for you guys. Let me see if I can find it here. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can actually find one. And this shows you how, yeah, this is it. This is the official WWO 2013 show. And you can see it's Magic and Jason fighting for the title. There's the international title. There's the women's title. There was a tag title. There is Big Vito that was in here. So we did have a couple of superstars that traveled from here. We had Low Key, who if you don't know who he is, he was Caval in the WWE some years ago. So the WWO has a big history. And I'm gonna try to go further back so you guys can see, but yeah, Marvin, that's how serious the organization, or should I say the WWO has been.
Yeah.
In fact, this is a program sheet of the first. I'm gonna have to blow this up so everybody can see. So I don't know if it comes up clear, but I'm gonna pop it up real quick over us, Marvin. This is October 25th, 1995. The first WWO Halloween Horror. And you can see the championships all there. This is an actual flyer. Believe it or not, it's actually, the paper is brown when it was white because it's old now. So
Uh,
it's actually worn. But Saturday, October 28th, 1995, we had an entire gym, and it got packed. This was our first big Halloween horror show, and
the way I have everything set up, it's too small for me to see, but I'm gonna rewatch that
I can
because I'm curious about the show.
yeah, I can
Yeah,
send this to you later on too if you want. But I will send
would
it
love to
so you
see
can,
it.
yeah, so you guys could see that. It is when you transcend, and this is I think when you transcend from the real thing into this virtual, I run it the same way, So go ahead, Marvin, go ahead.
Um, Another question from Zach. Where is one place you want to host WWO that's never get a chance to host it? That would definitely go for the real life version because virtual is everywhere and nowhere.
We go even to the moon if we could on this. For the real one, I've always wanted to do a real WWO. Like I could take it. We've taken it to New Jersey. We've taken it to New York City. We've done Pennsylvania. We've done other locations. I personally would like to do a WWO Marvin in your backyard. So like an actual
Absolutely.
European show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think we
Make
would
WWO
go.
Europe a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be my thing. Now for the virtual one, again, we could go anywhere.
Yeah. Like literally, we can just mock up an image that says that we're on the moon. So if Halloween Horror needs to be on the moon, it's gonna be on the moon.
Don't be surprised.
Uh,
While you guys, Marvin, take a little bit, I'm going to go fetch my belt. So I'll be shut
yes.
my camera real quick, but they're right there, so I'll be right back.
Cool. So would love to see WWO go down under. That would be to Australia, I guess. Yeah, if WWO would come back, that's yeah. Let's take it around the world. Let's make it as visible as WWO Live. Now, if anyone has any more questions for Scully, whether that's for WWO Live, even WWO Real Life, please drop them down in the chat because we have plenty of time to go answering questions.
Yep. I'm back, by the way.
Welcome back. Now, the final no, that's actually not true. I have two more topics, but the next one that makes more sense would be any desire to bring back WWO in real life. And I guess you've already answered that.
Yeah, here's the thing. The bringing back the real company. It's this version's a lot easier than the real one. Reason being is you have to go through licensing, you have to go through insurance, you got to make sure the talent is proper. So, you have to do so much to bring the original, to do the original, or try to say the real version. The talent, I have to make sure the talent is what I'm looking for. Just like with you folks, the talent has to be right, and the setting has to be right. The location has to be right. I'm a very bad stickler for criticizing my own product. If I don't like where a shot is, I don't like the show. So those are the things like with us, and the guys know, Marvin especially. Marvin, I don't think I like this one. Can you change it to this and this? And you fuck, and he'll have to make a whole new match. But
Doesn't happen too often, thankfully, but yeah, it has happened. It has happened.
But those are the things that to bring back the original also takes money. Sorry if you guys see that pop up. To bring the original back, it's also a lot of work. Needs money. So if anybody wants to donate a few, like $5,000, that's the basics. And Marvin, it sounds crazy. If anybody wants to down and not expect to get it back, that's a real business. And that's the legitimate business. how I'm saying this.
Before WWO, I've looked into how much it costs to actually start a wrestling business. If I were to do it here in Europe, because I had the desire to. And yeah, $5,000 is indeed bare minimum.
Well,
There's not a whole lot you can do with that, but
yeah,
you can kind of start.
well, here's the thing, Marvin. $5,000 is just for the talent and to pay for location. You're not talking about the ring, renting out the ring, the insurance, and
Yeah.
everything else. So I'm a businessman, you know. So I got to do everything basically like a business. So with that, there are the ability to have our own equipment, have all this. So that's something else. Marvin, we got some more questions.
Hellbilly asked if I'm in Australia. No. No. I will stay far away from that place because screw those spiders. Not going anywhere near there. No, I'm in Europe. Hellbilly. It's not as far as Australia is compared to the US, but it's still pretty far.
He doesn't
And
he doesn't worry about kangaroos.
no, love kangaroos. I'll take this on, no problem. It's gonna be fun. Um, what would you say has been the best storyline in WWO? From Zach?
Let's see here. The best storyline, I would definitely, from beginning to current, would have to be the Jeremy the Madman versus OSU Phoenix, which became now OSU became the Showman. So that was a story that built up. You can go back and look at our old shows on YouTube, hashtag WWO Wrestling Live. So you can look at all those old shows and see the genesis of it. It started out this way and it built up to where it is today. So storyline wise, the best storyline is that storyline. The best story is the storyline. Yeah.
Yeah. I think my favorite would have to be the entire saga between Jeremy and Phoenix, which made him turn into the Showman. So I'm guessing it's the same story. Especially with Phoenix being part of the faction that I was in, I was very seeing how Phoenix and Jeremy's mind worked, and that was really cool. Really cool to see. Very much a pleasure to work with either of them.
All right. While we wait for more questions, Marvin, got anything else?
Yes, I do. When it comes to creative, there's a lot of leeway for Jeremy and myself for making decisions. But there's one thing that pretty much always boils down to your decision, rightfully so, and that's the world champion. Whoever should be world champion. And I want to know what makes you decide on who should be the next world champion.
Well, just like in the real WWO, I have to look at somebody that's going to not only be that can handle the responsibility of being the top guy. In the virtual world here with WWO Live, we look at how well the fans respond to you, good or bad. You know, if they cheer you, you boo you, you see the hits, the likes. That's one of the factors, folks. So that's a big thing with me. I like to see the character growth. Is this character worth the investment of carrying the big banner? And seeing how far we can go with him. Like with currently right now is Jeremy the Madman. There's been multiple characters, people before that. King LG, we all know how he was the world champion, how he got it. And the reason I picked him, because not only he had the attitude, he had the stuff, you know, he was an organization member. It just fit. Your character has to fit a certain mode. And that's, again, the reliability, the promo, the ability to listen and take directions, and how the fans react. So if you folks like, and again, we saw a lot of Jeremy the Madman voting. That's one of the big factors. But every champion too has their time. So when a new champion gets put in, we look ahead. We got to say, okay, this person's has been with us for so long. It's about time he goes, or she goes, or this tag team. So that's how I look at the business. It has to be. You have to be really certain special to carry that title, even though it's fictional here. Even in the real WWO, I have to look at it. Can you bring me money in the real one? Here, can you bring me viewers? Are you intriguing enough? Are you really that? Can you sell that? Those are the things that I look at.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think we haven't really had anyone win a title multiple times. I'm kind of guessing about the tag titles, if perhaps Cuba's Finest have had it multiple times,
Twice.
but I think
They had it
twice.
twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as singles titles go, I think it's the first time with the Showman becoming international champion
Well,
that he has won
there is a
the belt
controversy
twice.
with that, Marvin. We're still figuring out, because it is the same guy but with two gimmicks. Do we recognize
Yeah,
the same person as the, because he
I'd
is,
say so. I'd say so.
okay, so then he's a two-time champion.
Yeah.
As far as anybody else, I don't know if the Reapers have been more than, I think they've been twice tag champs, right?
Not entirely sure. Like the tag title is something we love to hot potato around, especially when there's a new tag team on the rise, um,
And then,
which makes the belt a lot of fun, in my opinion.
right.
Um,
And Marvin, real quick, that's also another thing too. We've had the tag
yeah,
title situation jump immediately, and any title can jump to. We've had when
yeah,
you and Kyle Merriman were the World Tag Team Champions, and Kyle had to take a break, and all of a sudden here comes World Class, and they just stunned everybody with their promos, their gimmicks.
absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and bam, we made the decision, or should I say, Marvin made the decision himself, and he was he was the one who led the group. He made the say, I think we need to put it on these guys, and that's where it went to. So sometimes a title can switch because of we can say, okay, this person's, you're gonna hold the belt for a while, and then this thing comes up, and we go
yeah,
switcheroo. So you don't know what's
yeah,
gonna happen in the WWO. Let's say that.
yeah. Plans are made, but sometimes you're gonna have to change them. And I think it goes back to what we mentioned about people coming in. And especially since we have a couple of people who are returning and we have some people who are new, we have plans, but please make us regret our plans.
Exactly.
Give us something that makes us go, well, we have to throw this around because this person is doing great. And we have to reward that. We want to see that. So see that as a wake up call for people. Try our best. Make us go card subject to change to ourselves.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Hellbilly is saying he loved his feud against Mr. G. That was one of his favorite run for about 2 years. That was pre WWO though. I don't think we revisited that in WWE. But I've seen bits of it and it was a lot of fun to see, so I understand what you say.
Yeah, they did have a feud in here, but it was short lived.
Yeah, yeah. Jim is loving a run versus Jocelyn.
Okay. My run was just was pretty awesome. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
How did the titles come to be? Why does certain looks like retro from Selena? Hello, Selena?
Hey, kiddo. The titles were the WWO titles that you see in the game are the exact copies of the real WWO. And just to show you guys, this is the real WWO Tag Team Championship. So if it looks nostalgic in a way, I modeled these after, and again, I'm a product from the 80s. So these are, and Marvin, if you look, I think I can get the camera close into it. They actually have WWO on it. They have like the logos of WWO. They actually say all that. And this is real belts. So this, and I'm going to show you something, guys, real quick. I'm going to put this off to the side. I'm going to pull another picture. Let me see if I can find it real quick. The belts themselves were created with, like for the WWO tag titles, they were created by mimicking the other belts of the 80s. So the World Class Championship Wrestling with the Von Erichs, that's what their belts look like. The WWF 1984-5 belts look just like that. So I like to look at championship belts, and I go by them having to look a certain way. For me, it's nostalgia. I love those belts growing up. They're on the original people. So I wanted to have those belts be representing of us. And let me see if I can. Here are the, at the time, the WWO World Tag Team Champions, Styles and Finesse, and they do have, Marvin, the that belts. So you can see, so they're holding that tag team championship belt.
Yeah.
So that's where that belt came from, Selena. Hey, it's the Demoness, Jocelyn Havoc. Now we're gonna go after a belt, Marvin, in game you've held, and I'll bring this one up. This one's the most heaviest belt of all. This is it's literally heavier than the others because the plate is thicker. This is the WWO International Championship, a belt Marvin Dallas is so familiar with because he stole it off of King LG. Again, this is mimicking two belts, the WWF Intercontinental Championship and the UWF, the original UWF Championship, Heavyweight Championship belt. And I will put the real belt picture of the person who held it, so in a few minutes. So let's see here. Here we go. And that is Sheik Sator, and he held the International Championship. Now, the World Champion, or should I say championship, not champion, but the World Championship, is this one. Now, we all know it's currently held by Jeremy the Madman. And it is also a heavy belt. It's legitimate. This was made in reference to the 1987 WrestleMania 3 Hulk Hogan Andre the Giant belt. Andre was supposed to win this version of the belt. We just converted it into, this is our own WWO belt. It has everything. They even have inside the strap, it'll say World Wrestling Organization Champion. So that one, and I'll put that picture up in a moment. So, and we're going back to memory lane here, folks. And that was held by ECW legend. Let me blow that picture up a little bit more so the fans can see it. That was held by former ECW television champion Jason Knight. And also by, at the time, also by indie icon Magic. So there you go, guys. That's now the other belts that we have, like the women's championship. Let me see if I don't have that belt with me. I have to get a new one. While we look through it, Marvin, that belt is, let me see here. And I'm trying to find it, but because the young lady has it. That belt is the women's title. The WWO World Women's Championship was held by three different ladies. So it was actually the Ada Marie was the first women's champion, and I don't find a picture of her in the belt, but this is her back in the day. So she had that title, and then it was held by Nikki Adams. So I don't think I have Nikki Adams. Oh, wait a minute. I do have a picture of Ada with the championship. So there you go. She has the World Women's Championship for the belt that currently Sister Quinn has. That is the original title. So as far as the other belts are concerned, the WWO North American belt, the WWO European title, and the WOW Tag Team and WOW Championship and the WOW and the Women's Tag Team Championship. We've never had that in the real WWO, so they're only virtual belts here. And the hardcore title. We've never had a hardcore title.
Well, time to hire a belt maker and get those in real life.
Well, let me tell you, those belts I have were like $300-$400 a piece. So,
yeah. I know. Price of belts is rather steep,
yes,
but for good reason.
absolutely.
Now, there's a question from Zach. I think we can't really answer that because we do have some legit plans with that. But he did ask if WWO had a Hall of Fame down the line, who would you choose as the first inductee? We have dabbled with that question. I think we should kind of keep that to ourselves for now.
Yeah, something like that, folks. The Hall of Fame was just a question that we tossed around. It was. I'm going to toss another picture up here so everybody could see. That was another international champion. That was the Intruder 1, so he's actually holding that same title. Something like that we are planning on. We're discussing it at the end of the year, so it'll probably be part of what it'll be part of what Warzone, Marvin, or
Could
if
be.
it happens.
Yeah.
If it happens.
Or, yeah, probably because we did play with the idea of having it at the end of the year. I'm guessing we could announce it at the end of the year if we pull the trigger on that and then aim it for around Wrestle Clash, because I do think that's the more fitting show
Okay.
to have that on. But it's ideas at the moment. And to answer who should be the first inductee, to mention that would be to spoil a potential surprise. So we can't really do that.
Yeah, we're not going to do that currently. So we're definitely going to hold up on that reveal, but it's still in the talks. It's still in the works. We still have to figure it all out.
Now, before we went live, I asked in the Discord if people had any questions. It was a last-minute question. I got one, but it's a pretty fun question, and it's from TMX.
Okay.
And he asked, and I'm gonna have to change my screen a bit. What do you see WWE doing What do you see WWO doing in 2026, and how will WWO end 2025?
Ooh. That's a very good question. And I'm going to throw it back at everybody involved. TMX and everybody. It all depends on you folks. It depends on your promos, your activity. It really, Marvin, I got to say, it's on the talent themselves. If if you guys can take it up a notch, then you'll be part of that plans. That's how we look at WWO. Right now, we already, after Summer Bash, we look at straight. We're already looking at Halloween Horror and the War Zone. So we're looking, what, 6 months already ahead, Marvin? Or was it like
I
4 months?
mean, yeah, we have up until. I mean, the Warzone card is quite well set in stone. There are still some names that need to be switched around, but that's January. And then there's some build-up shows towards that needs to be filled in, but we're doing pretty good on that. We have our 4 main Wrestle Clash matches already booked out,
Yeah.
which is April. So yeah, we have some plans, and I think you also mentioned what you want to see for the world title in Summer Bash next year. So we even know that.
Yeah. The funny thing, folks,
So yeah,
is we do, and I say this, we do plan ahead. I was trained old promoter wise, so I look at the finishing, and we go backwards. So sometimes it doesn't work that way, and we look at, okay, this is Wrestle Clash. This should be the main event. This should be this match. This should be that. It's already pre-planned, and then we go backwards. Okay, how do we get there? So think of it like this. For me, I write the finish of a book. So at the end of the book, you know who your killer is. You know how the person was killed. You know how the person was arrested, and all this stuff. So now that you know the actual ending of the book, you got to go backwards. So you got to tell that story. So then we pick a time, and now we move forward. So does it work always that way? Sometimes we just say, okay, here's where we start. We'll move it on to here, and this is where it gets to. Sometimes. But I go backwards because I like to know the finish. I already know the finish of my story. We already know Luke Skywalker becomes a Jedi Knight. How does he become a Jedi Knight? Boom. So we develop that character. So now we go from boop, and we start going forward down. So that's how I look at the entire.
I mean that's massive spoilers, Scully. Don't you know you need to wait at least 8 before you spoil a movie? Jeez, come on, man.
Well, I think we already know that he's a Jedi. He's a Jedi.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks, that's for me. That's what I look at. That's how I book. And again, it's having great creative staff, like having great creative staff like Marvin and Jeremy, who keep me down to earth and will say, hey, we can't do this in the game. Oh yeah, you're trying hard enough, But
any complaints, please redirect them to 2K and make sure that they get their dev team in order. Then we can do more stuff.
But yeah, that's something. That's how
We're trying, Jim. It's difficult. It's difficult.
Yeah, right. But yeah, Marvin. So that's kind of the idea. That's how I book it, and we're very good because there are times Marvin and Jeremy will come off with great, and I say that, great ideas that are better than mine, and we'll go with it. So we will go with it. So with that, I honestly say, yeah, we think ahead, because then we know how this person is going to get there. Can something change along the way? That person leaves, is legitimately not able to promote or do promos, then changes will have to be done at the last minute. So unfortunately, those things happen. But yeah, I gotta say, I do things in that perspective. Marvin will throw in I'll tell you this, folks, and I'm being very honest with you. I have a view for Summer Bash that just passed. Marvin came up with an idea on how to tweak it. Jeremy came up with an idea, tweaked it, and it sounded good. I was like, yeah, let's go with it. So it's never always my decision. This is a team effort, and we vote. So that's why I say it's awesome when you got a bunch of people that understand what is going on. So they help create this product.
And, in the end, it's still your brand because WWO has always been yours, even in real life. So the end decision are down to you, which is why I also had the question about the world title because Jeremy and I don't really want to meddle too much in that because it is quite. It's a very flagship decision that you're making with that. So if we sometimes have suggestions, and I have suggested a couple of world champions, and you have gone along with them so far. But yeah, it's ultimately that comes down to you. Of course, you are the end decision maker, but it's been very fine working with this because yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing you, Scully. I'm seeing you. But yeah, when it comes to bring for stories, it's just good that we can bounce stuff off each other. And sometimes someone can come up with an idea, and then one of the other person's people hear it, and they know exactly what needs to be changed to turn that okay idea into something great, and that eventually makes it to the show. And I always love it when that happens.
Yeah. One other thing too, when it comes to these titles, they're very dear to me because obviously they're my real legit promotion. When I agree to put it on a certain person, I'm having a lot of faith in that person to not only, to keep not the integrity because, this is online, but to continue that lineage in a sense, because the real WWO has their champions. Like, we have the tag teams, we have all that and all that and all that. When the virtual ones, they're still the same thing. They're still, even though they're fake belts in a video game, I still look at them like those are my real belts. And when I say, okay, Marvin Dallas, you're going to be international champion, it's because I have faith in his gimmick and his personality and his promos that he could deliver. So we always look at 3 or 4 people ahead who could be like the next champion. So from that time, Marvin, it was safe to say, because now we changed the title, we've had King LG as the international champion. We've had you as international champion. Now we have the Showman as international champion. So we go from LG, Marvin, and now Showman. So we already know what's going to happen 4 months down the road. Who's the next champion? So we keep the stories alive and fresh, so you folks keep investing in it. I think we had another question, Marvin.
Yes, if you could bring your own custom persona to WWO, what would you call it? That is what we're doing. I think that goes for everyone, and what we bring to WWO right now is the persona who we want to be in wrestling.
I'll give you an example. The Joseph Skoldrin Knight that you see here on WWO Live is my actual wrestling character. So what you guys are getting here is what's really over there when I do managing and all that. So honestly, that's what you're getting. So that doesn't change. That's me. Now, if you're saying custom persona to the real WWO, like which of these gimmicks here, like Chim Kicks, whomever, to translate to a real person, Marvin, I'm going to shock you. Any WWO competitor, would it be tag team singles or whomever, what persona I would like to see there transform into a real person he said the real WWO. I would like to see the Reapers. The Reapers.
uh,
I gotta say the
yeah,
Reapers.
yeah. I mean, if you were able to dig two skeletons out of the ground that can wrestle, I think that would be quite eye-catching. Yeah, in real life.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
I can. It's
That would sell.
yeah. It's easy to get two guys to dress up with the skull mask and the black outfits, the black tactical outfits. That's easy to do, but that would be my ultimate virtual to real. As for anybody else, technically Jeremy the Madman can be real because he's a legit person who does wrestling. Yeah, you can hear my damn dogs barking. You have the, I would say, who else? Jocelyn Demon Havoc because she's comes from a wrestling family. She's learning wrestling, so the physical part, not she already knows she understands the wrestling aspect. That would be another persona to jump from there to real. But yeah, definitely the Reapers. Just to give them a real no. Let me shut up. I don't want to put them in a real train.
You're gonna have so much trouble if you're gonna have real life Reapers.
Oh, I would love every minute of it if they were real. They would be the comedy duel that you see in the game.
You would love every single minute, all the way up until you get the first bill for all the destruction they've.
Very true. And the lawsuit.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Jim said the same thing. They would cost you so much money.
Yeah, yeah.
Marvin,
Scratch at 5,000. Make 5 millions. We need Reapers.
yeah. Let me ask that. Let me throw that question to you. If you could take a persona, let's forget about Shane Black because Shane is the same person in real wrestling. He is the Showtime Shane Black. You can look him up.
Yeah.
You can look him up on YouTube. You see his real stuff. So, take away the equation. Who would you really like to see? And there's one more person I'm gonna say for real that I would like to see go from persona from game to real life. But I'm gonna throw that first to you, Marvin.
That's really tricky.
Anonymous.
I'm not going to mention myself. That's lazy. Yeah,
Why,
it's yeah, you kind of did. To be fair, yeah, I would probably go with King LG.
Damn it! You stole my.
Yeah, like especially the way David carries himself when he's LG. Just the downright arrogance for a rather small dude still. I mean, he's training and he's getting bigger, so I should say that carefully. But like he started off as this really scrawny dude, underaged. When I first met him in the last promotion, yeah, just the entire attitude he has. That's yeah, you want to see that. You maybe want to see that guy get his ass kicked, but that's what wrestling is all about. So yeah, bring King OG over.
Yeah, I will. And here's the thing too, since he's going to be, he's at that age, he's developing his body, he's actually working. Like in the future, could he be in wrestling? It would be as his King LG gimmick. So I would love that. I would love that.
Why the hell would anybody want to go with the Kingfish?
Stop
Welcome,
that!
Jeremy.
Stop that! Because I've actually said that almost multiple times.
Yeah. I had a joke last night when I was talking to Jeremy, watching some very old stuff from back when David started in EVATs. Well, we'll go over that at some point. If you could put two WWO talents against each other, who would it be?
Oh damn!
Question from Selena.
Oh damn! That's a damn good question. And then we have another question too. Who the scariest person in the WWO, in my opinion? We'll start with that question first, Marvin. But go ahead, you do that. Scariest person.
Um, the scariest persona. I think in character I already answered that well over a year ago when I said that people should be afraid of Jeremy, because that's the trope that a lot of people always do. I'm not scared of you. You should be scared of Jeremy. Jeremy the Madman is dangerous, and it's better to acknowledge that than to glass that over.
Yep. I definitely agree with that. It would definitely be Jeremy the Madman because you wouldn't know what is going on in his mind. So I got to say that.
Even the Madman doesn't know
Yep.
from time to time.
So now the other question, if we could put two WWO talents against each other, so who would it be? Marvin, I'm going to throw that to you first. You're part of
Damn it.
creative.
Well, when Zach joined the viewing party last night, he had quite a similar question, and the difficult part about it is we're creative. Like a lot of the stuff that we want to see is we'll book it. That makes it quite difficult. So in terms of what you want to see, I think there could be some fun to be had if we pair Jeremy the Madman with Hellbilly in a match.
There you go.
I think that could be something. Rich versus KB3, two very big dudes to put against each other. That's also going to be fun, I think.
Okay. No, we're not going to see
Jeremy
Jeremy.
wants to see Jeremy versus Scully in a player match. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, only if the belt's on the line and if you know it's going to come to me. Let me see. There you go. Exactly. I hate when people know me already. Hellbilly versus King LG. I would definitely like to see that because it's a mix of two different styles. And it's organization versus organization. So, we are close to already our 1 hour 30 minutes, Marvin.
Yeah.
Jeremy versus Scully in a loser loses their dress match. I don't wear a dress. Who will want to see
Just want
me?
to say that thankfully neither of them are in a dress. I do not want to.
Yeah.
Well, technically, when we think of Sister Gwen,
Yeah.
let's not delve too much into that. Yeah, I am out of questions. We haven't had any questions yet in chat. Is there anything you want to mention before we go off script?
Yeah, we're going to end it here, folks. I'm going to just say you're going to see more of off scripts. You're going to see a lot of stuff coming now that we're in the road to Halloween Horror. So we're going to have that. We'll take Zach's question, Marvin, and then we'll go Dream WWO Tag Team. Me personally, LG and Hellbilly. That's my dream tag team. Marvin will will take it over, and then from there, folks, we're gonna end the show. So go ahead, Marvin.
Dream Tag Team. Mr. G and Shane Black, just because of the history between them.
Oh, they'll be fighting each other. So, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Now, I think you're kind of in a hurry, Scully, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet. We'll be back with another off scripts next Tuesday, 7 p.m. EST. I'll be joined by Jeremy the Madman, and we're going to talk about the making of Summer Bash. So that should be a lot of fun. For now, thanks to everyone who's joined in, who's chatted, who's asked questions, both on Twitch and YouTube. It's been a lot of fun. And until next time, I guess.
Yeah.
Awesome.